Right. So today we're gonna get into this
Yeah.
deep dive into Cavia's business model,
Okay.
and we're gonna use their official company filings,
Yeah.
their 10Ks and 10Qs,
Sounds good.
so we can really get a good picture of how this company
Hmm.
makes money and manages costs
Yep.
and charts its course for the future.
Exactly.
So by the end of this, we'll have like a blueprint of how CFVA
For
works.
sure. Hopefully.
Yeah, so we'll be able to see kind of how they've found success
Right.
in this really competitive, fast casual dining market.
Yeah. And I think a good place to start is with what everyone knows them for, right?
Yeah.
Like the food,
The food.
the bowls, and the pitas.
Right.
But is that the whole story when it comes to how they make money?
So that's a great question. And while that's certainly like the heart of what they do,
Yeah.
CAVA also has another revenue stream that's coming
Uh-huh.
from consumer packaged goods or CPG.
CPG, what exactly does that mean? So think about like dips and spreads and dressings.
Yeah.
The same things that you would get in your bowl in the restaurant.
Oh, interesting.
You can actually find on grocery store shelves now.
Oh, you know what? Now that you mention it,
Yeah.
I think I have seen their hummus at the grocery store.
Yeah.
I didn't even connect the two.
Yeah, it's a really smart strategy they're using.
Okay.
So they're both expanding their brand presence, they're reaching more customers,
Right.
and they're creating this other revenue stream.
That's smart.
Yeah.
That's really smart.
It's like a 1-2 punch.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You get hooked at the restaurant and then you can just bring it home with you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're diversifying the revenue streams.
Yep. And
Wow.
increasing brand visibility.
Now, let's talk about the costs,
Yeah.
because every business has them.
For sure.
But I'm curious about the big ticket items for Caviar.
Yeah.
What are the things that really impact their bottom line?
So in the financial statements, they actually break down all
Okay.
these major cost drivers.
Okay.
And restaurant operating expenses are
Okay.
the biggest piece of the part.
Makes sense.
So that includes everything from food costs,
Mhm.
labor, rent, utilities.
All the operating costs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Ongoing expenses for all their locations.
Yep.
And then you've got general and administrative costs, which covers things like marketing,
Oh, okay.
corporate overhead, support functions.
Yeah.
And then, since Caviar is expanding so rapidly,
Right.
they're also incurring these significant pre-opening expenses
Okay.
for every new location.
That makes sense.
Getting a new restaurant up and running,
Yeah.
a lot of upfront investment.
But there was one line item in their 10K that really caught my eye.
Yeah.
And it was impairment charges
Yeah.
related to property and equipment.
Mm-hmm.
What are impairment charges?
Also,
And why should we even care?
That's a great question. And it kind of gives you a look behind the curtain
Yeah.
of how Caviar makes decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, impairment charges happen when an asset loses value.
So like when you buy a fancy new juicer,
Exactly.
thinking you'll use it every day,
Yeah.
and it just sits on the counter.
Totally.
Yeah.
But in this case, it's a multi-million-dollar restaurant location.
Right. Right.
So it highlights the strategic decisions they have to make
Yeah.
about expanding and investing.
Mhm.
They have to look at each location's potential
Yeah.
and know that not everything's going to be a home run.
That makes you think about how hard it must be to run a successful restaurant chain.
Yeah.
It's not just about good food.
Right.
It's about making smart financial decisions at every step.
Totally.
But let's not forget about the reason
Right.
why customers keep coming back.
Exactly.
It's the CFVA experience itself.
The experience.
So what is it about their brand
Okay.
that makes them stand out?
Well, looking at their financial filings,
Okay.
they emphasize a few key things.
Okay.
One is their customizable menu,
Okay.
which appeals to a lot of different dietary preferences.
Right.
You can get vegan, vegetarian, gluten-free.
Right. And it's good.
Yeah, and the food's delicious.
Their harissa sauce is so good.
Yeah.
I put it on everything.
I get it.
Don't judge me.
Not judging you.
So fresh ingredients, great flavors.
Yeah, it's not just fuel. It's
Yeah.
an experience.
Yeah.
It's like you're transported to the Mediterranean,
Yeah.
even if you're just grabbing a quick lunch.
Absolutely.
They're really creating this welcoming, warm vibe
Yeah.
that's going beyond just the food.
Yeah. It's inviting. It's like they're saying, come on in, relax.
Yeah.
We've got you covered.
Exactly.
But how do they stand out
Okay,
in such a crowded market?
that's where their differentiation strategies come in.
Okay.
Their financial statements highlight a few key things. One is their marketing.
Okay.
They're not just selling food.
Right.
They're selling a feeling.
Right.
They're selling an
Right.
experience.
A lifestyle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And they do a really good job on social media, too. It's very engaging. They've
Yeah.
really built this community around the brand.
Yeah.
And then another thing is their commitment to total rewards for their employees.
Oh, okay.
So they're investing in their team.
Okay.
They offer competitive pay, good benefits,
Right.
opportunities for growth.
That's their generosity first value, right?
Exactly.
You can tell their employees are happy,
Yeah.
and it makes a difference
It really does.
for the customer.
Happy employees, happy customer.
Right. Exactly.
And did you know that they have an employee stock purchase plan?
Really?
So almost all of their employees can become owners.
That's incredible.
Yeah, it's really cool.
It shows they really value their employees,
Yeah.
and they believe in shared success.
It's definitely a unique approach.
Yeah.
It is. But it also makes you think, how important are those things to you when
Yeah.
you're deciding where to eat? Do you think about the employees? Do you think about sustainability initiatives?
It's becoming more and more important to me.
Yeah,
I like supporting businesses that are doing good things.
I totally get that.
But let's face it,
Yeah.
you can't have all this good food and good vibes
Right.
without a well-oiled machine
Yeah.
behind the scenes.
That's where we'll pick up next time. Stay tuned as we explore the operational activities
Bye-bye.
that keep Cava running.
Looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Go.
All right. So picking up where we left off,
Yeah.
we were talking about the behind the scenes.
Right, the operational side.
Yeah, the operations. What makes CAV tick?
Yeah, because the bowls don't just magically appear, right?
Exactly.
There's a system in place.
For sure.
And I want to kind of understand what makes that work.
So their financial statements actually offer some insight
Okay.
into some of their most critical activities. And one of those is real estate and development.
Okay, so like finding the right locations.
Yeah, finding locations, negotiating leases.
Oh, that's got to be tough.
Yeah, it's a huge part
Yeah.
of their growth strategy.
I mean, think about all the factors that go into that, right?
Oh, tons.
Yeah. A foot traffic.
Demographics, competition.
So much to consider.
Oh, yeah. And their 10K actually talks about the challenges they face
Okay.
in securing those prime locations.
Especially as they're growing so fast.
Especially as they're growing.
Yeah.
It's a constant balancing act.
Yeah.
Trying to find the right spots that fit their brand.
It's like a culinary real estate game.
That's a good way to put it.
Right.
Yeah,
You got to find the best properties.
totally.
But then it's not just about finding the location.
Right.
It's about building it out, right?
It's building it out.
Getting it up to their standards.
Yeah. Making sure it meets all their operational standards.
Yeah. I bet that's a whole other...
It's huge. It's a huge undertaking.
But even then, you got to have the ingredients.
You got to have the ingredients.
Right.
Absolutely.
To make the food.
So that brings us to another critical area,
Good.
supply chain management.
Okay.
They rely on this network of suppliers
Okay.
to provide those fresh, high-quality ingredients.
Now, I remember reading in their 10K
Yeah.
something about single source suppliers.
Hmm.
Is that risky?
It definitely highlights a
Mhm.
potential vulnerability
Okay.
because if something happens
Right.
to disrupt that single source,
Like a natural disaster.
weather, crop failure, you name it,
Yeah.
it could really impact their menu.
Imagine if they couldn't get
Oh my God.
feta cheese,
I know.
the crazy feta dip.
People would freak out.
Right.
Yeah. So it just shows how important it is to
Yeah.
have multiple suppliers.
A backup plan.
Yeah. Always have a backup plan.
But, at the end of the day,
Yeah.
it's the people who really bring it all together.
The people.
The CIVA team.
Absolutely.
And we touched on this a bit before,
Hmm.
but talent acquisition
So important.
and retention.
Especially when you're growing so fast.
Yeah. You can have the best ingredients, the
Mhm.
best locations.
Yeah.
But if you don't have the right people,
It falls apart.
it's not going to work.
Yeah.
So I wonder how they ensure that consistency
Why?
across so many locations, right?
Well, they talk about that in their 10K.
Okay.
They have these really robust training programs.
Okay.
Clear development paths for their employees.
So they're really invested in their employees' growth
Absolutely.
and giving them opportunities to move up.
It's not just about filling positions.
Yeah.
It's about building a strong team.
Yeah, creating a culture of loyalty.
Exactly.
But, with all this growth and
Yeah.
innovation,
Mhm.
every business has to adapt.
They do. Yeah. Things are constantly changing.
The world is always changing.
Yeah. Consumer preferences change, new technologies.
The economy.
Everything.
So how does KVA stay ahead of the curve?
Well, one of the things they emphasize is this growth mindset.
Okay.
They're always looking for ways
Mm-hmm.
to improve, to innovate.
They're not content with the status quo.
Not at all. They're
Yeah.
constantly trying to do things better.
And they're not just guessing.
Right.
They're using data
They're using data and technology
to make decisions.
to make informed decisions.
So it's like a culinary control center.
I love that.
Right. Yeah. Analyzing everything.
It's like they're monitoring the market
Yeah.
and they're using that data to
Yeah.
to stay ahead.
To make things better.
Exactly. But it's not just about the data. It's
Right.
about using that data to enhance the human element.
It's about the people.
It's about the people
Yeah.
creating a better experience for everyone.
So they've got a good recipe for success. But I wonder what's next for Cava.
That's a great question.
What does the future hold?
And that's what we're going to talk about next.
All right.
Stay tuned as we explore those potential opportunities and challenges.
Looking forward to it. So we're back
Back again.
and ready to talk about the future.
Yeah, the future of CA.
Before the break, we were talking about
Mhm.
how Cava adapts to a changing world.
Right, because you got to be flexible in this business.
Undeniable.
Things are always changing.
And I remember them mentioning in
Yeah.
their filings the importance of data
Yeah.
and technology
Oh, absolutely.
to make decisions and grow.
Data is key for them.
Yeah, it's like they're always watching the market, seeing what's happening.
Looking for opportunities.
Yeah, trying to stay ahead,
Got to stay ahead of the curve.
especially because customers are changing too.
Oh, yeah. Customers have so many choices now.
So many choices.
And their expectations are higher.
Like, everyone wants things fast.
Right.
and
Yeah.
fresh
Fast, fresh,
and personalized,
analyzed. Yeah.
like tailored to their needs.
Right, exactly.
And CIV is already doing a good job with that.
They are.
I mean, they've got the customizable menu
Right.
and their online ordering.
Yeah, they're in a good spot.
But I could see them going even further, you know?
How so?
Like, what if they used AI
Oh,
to
interesting.
make recommendations
Okay.
based on what you've ordered before
I like that.
or your dietary preferences?
Yeah, like a personalized.
Yeah, like a virtual
Yeah.
culinary concierge.
That's a great idea.
Right.
Yeah, that would really enhance the experience.
Another thing that's becoming really important
Yeah.
is sustainability.
Sustainability, big time.
Ethical sourcing.
Huge for consumers now.
People want to know
Mm,
where their food is coming from,
absolutely.
and that CIV's already focused on this.
Yeah, it's not just a trend for them.
Right? It's part of who they are.
It's part of their values.
But they could go further.
What do you have in mind?
Like partnering with local farmers
Okay, yeah.
or
Yeah,
composting.
for sustainable practices.
Yeah, just to lessen their impact.
Makes sense.
But with all this growth,
Yeah. Yeah.
all this
Well,
innovation,
Mm-hmm.
how do they keep that
Mm-hmm.
that special TIVA culture?
That's the challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, how do they
Try to scale that,
maintain that personal touch
especially as you grow so fast.
as they get bigger?
It's like, how do you bottle that magic
Exactly.
and spread it to all the new locations?
It's got to be tough.
It is, and that's where leadership comes in.
Right.
Strong leadership.
Making sure everyone's on the same page.
Yeah, keeping our core values front and center.
Well, I think we've covered a lot
We have.
in this deep dive into TIVA.
Yeah, we've gone deep.
We've looked at their revenue,
Mm-hmm.
their costs, their value proposition.
Their operations, their differentiator.
And it seems like their success
Yeah,
is about more than just good food.
it's about the whole package.
It's the business model. It's the data,
It's the people.
the values,
It's experience.
and a real passion for what they do.
Yeah, they've found a winning formula,
Yes.
blending the food with the business side.
So on that note,
Yeah.
I think we've reached the end
The end of our deep dive.
of our CIVA deep dive.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
We'll see you next time.
Keep exploring and keep learning.